Which verse? Verse number
31 Mataji. Text 31.
31. 1. 31, 31st verse. Vishuddhaya dharanaya hata shubhas tadikshayaiva shugata yuddhashamaha nivritta sarvendriya vritti vibhramas tuštavajanyam visrujan janartanam. Vishuddhaya, by purified, dharanaya, meditation, hata ashubhaha, one who has minimized the inauspicious qualities of material existence, tat him, ikshaya, by looking on, eva, simply, ashu, immediately, gata, having gone away, yudha, from the arrows, shamaha, fatigue, nivrittaha, being stopped, sarva, all, indriya, senses, vritti, activities, vibhrama, being widely engaged, tushtava, he prayed, janyam, the material tabernacle, and then Visrujan, while quitting Janardhanam, to the control of the living entities. And Yudhishthir Maharaj is getting all the instructions and advice and the transcendental knowledge from Bhishma Pitama. And when the right time came, Bhishma Pitama is completely concentrating on the wonderful form of Krishna. Complete with pure meditation, he is looking at the wonderful form of Krishna. And immediately he became relieved, minimized the inauspicious qualities of material existence, hata ashubhaha. And he was relieved even of the pains of the arrows, shramaha yudha, nivrutte, immediately stopped the pains of the arrows. Thus all the external activities of his senses at once stopped. And he prayed transcendentally to the controller of the living entities while quitting his material body. So when the right time came, completely concentrated in Krishna. So all the troubles of the body completely minimized, and he was able to concentrate so nicely. And he prayed to Lord, and in this way he quit his body. That is what is antakalecha mameva smaranamuktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nastata samsham. It's not so easy to remember Krishna at the time of quitting the body. If one is able to do that, that is how then the people compare, yes, he has quit the body like Bhishma Deva, completely concentrating his mind in Krishna. Then the external pain is not felt, or it is very difficult to leave the body. It is said it is like thousands of crabs coming and killing, coming and biting. That much pain is there while quitting the body. But when a person gets the fortune of remembering Krishna, then that pain is not felt because his mind is completely absorbed in Krishna. So our sadhana is nothing but to have that practice ground. At the time of quitting the body, I should completely be absorbed in remembering Krishna. So there was a question asked to Malujacharya by his disciple. That whole life I will be remembering Krishna, but at the end, somehow by some circumstances, I am not able to remember Krishna. Then what? Ramanacharya says, Krishna will remember, and he will make such arrangement that you will remember Krishna. It's Krishna's responsibility. We don't have to think so much. We just have to think that I am not able to remember Krishna now very nicely. While I am chanting, I have so many thoughts. So just let me chant very nicely at this moment. If I am able to do this, let Krishna take the responsibility of making me remember him at the time of quitting the body. Because Krishna has clearly told, even when the 6 Mahavakyas were given by Varadaraj Perumal Kanchipuram to Ramanacharya through Kanchipurna, at that time also the same, the 6 Mahavakya, the 4th Mahavakya which has been given is that devotee need not remember Krishna at the time of quitting the body. Fifth is, I remember the devotees. I take it as a personal responsibility to take the devotee back to God. Now, the fourth Mahavakya is, devotee need not remember. That means he need not have to put extra efforts to remember because he's not forgetting. If you forget, then only you will be asked to remember, isn't it? When you have not forgotten, where is the question of, please remember, like when a mother is told, are you remembering your child? And no mother forgets the child. Child may forget, but the mother will not forget, isn't it? Child may forget when he goes to school, the child may forget, but the mother whole day remembers the child. So that is why you cannot ask the mother, are you remembering the child? Yes, she's not forgetting the child. Okay. Krishna Priya Mataji, read.
Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Text 31. Visuddhaya dharanaya hata shubhasta dikshayai vasu gatayudashramaha nivritta sharvendriya vritti vibhramam stusthava janyam visrujan janardhanam. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. By pure meditation, looking at Lord Sri Krishna, he at once was freed from all material inauspiciousness and was relieved of all bodily pains caused by the arrow wounds. Thus, all the external activity of his senses at once stopped, and he prayed transcendently to the controller of all living beings while quitting his material body. Purport. The material body is a gift of the material energy, technically called illusion. Identification with the material body is due to forgetfulness of our eternal relationship with the Lord. For a pure devotee of the Lord like Bhishma Deva, this illusion was at once removed as soon as the Lord arrived. Lord Krishna is like the sun, and the illusionary external material energy is like darkness. In the presence of the sun, there is no possibility of that darkness can stand. Therefore, just on the arrival of Lord Krishna, all material contamination was completely removed, and Bhishma Deva was thus able to be transcendentally situated by stopping the activities of the impure senses in collaboration with matter. The soul is originally pure and also the senses. By material contamination, the senses assume the role of imperfection and impurity. By revival of the contact with the Supreme Pure, Lord Krishna, the senses again became freed from material contaminations. Bhishma Deva attained all these transcendental conditions prior to his leaving the material body because of the Lord's presence. The Lord is the controller and benefactor of all living beings. That is the verdict of all Vedas. He is the supreme eternity and living entity amongst all the eternal living beings. And he alone provides all the necessity for all kinds of living beings. Thus, he provides all facilities to fulfill the transcendental desires of his great devotees. Bhishma Deva, who prayed as follows. Hare Krishna.
So, Lord is giving a wonderful facility to the devotee to remember him. That is also a wonderful aspect. Lord gives that facility, and also Lord provides a facility for the devotee to go back to God. This is a transcendental desire which every devotee has. At the time of quitting the body, oh Lord, I should not forget you. So Krishna provides that facility. So one should have that faith. And for that, one should not forget Krishna when his health is very good, when his tongue is wonderful. He can chant Krishna's name. So one should utilize his time in the service of Krishna. Now here, completely absorbing here himself in the wonderful form of Krishna, looking at Krishna, Bhishma Deva is chanting following verses. Is offering his prayers. These prayers are very important prayers. It starts from 32nd verse to 42nd verse. 11 verses are. You can memorize this verse. It's very, very nice. We have a CD book, Bhagavad Pratna, where all the prathanas done by great sages, great devotees have been compiled together. And by Krishna's mercy, I was told to sing those verses. So 96 prayers of the great devotees is there. In that Bhishma prayers are also the Shri Bhishma Vacha. Shri Bhishma Vacha iti mati rupakalpita vitrushna bhagavati satvata pungave vibhumni swasukham upakate kvachid vihartum prakrutim upayeshu yadbhava pravaham. Shri Bhishma Vacha. Shri Bhishma said, iti thus, matihi, thinking, feeling, and willing, upakalpitaha, invested, vitrushna, upakalpita, invested, vitrushna, freed from all sense desires, Bhagavati, unto the personality of Godhead, Satvataha Pungave, unto the leader of the devotees, Vibhumni, unto the great, Swasukham, self-satisfaction, Upagate, unto he who has attained it, Kvachid, sometimes, Vihartum, out of transcendental pleasure, Prakrutim, in the material world, Upayushi, do accept it, Yes Bhava, from whom the creation, Pravaha, is made and annihilated. So Bhishma Deva is praying. What is his prayers? Let me always invest my thinking, willing, and feeling. This thinking, willing, and feeling, that is my mati, it was absorbed in all the materialistic activities. So much of materialistic activities, so many of subject matters, occupational duties. Now let this mati be absorbed in that all-powerful Krishna. Unto you, O Lord Bhagavati, you are Satvataha Pungave. You are the leader of the devotees. O Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are always self-satisfied. And then, but sometimes being the leader of the devotees, he enjoys transcendental pleasure by descending on the material world, although from him only the material world is created. Prakrutim yad bhava. Everything is created by you, annihilated by you, maintained also by you. You appear in this material world, that is just to enjoy the transcendental pleasure and also give the transcendental pleasure to the devotees. That is why you come to this material world. Now Krishna, walking in this material world, talking to the people, talking to the devotees, taking part in the war, though not directly, but at least driving the chariot. Somebody may think, oh, he is like an ordinary person. But no, Krishna intentionally appears so that he attains the pleasure, though he is Atmatruptaha, Atmaram, but still he likes to enjoy with his devotees. Now Krishna appeared in this earthly planet. Like this, there is so many planets which Krishna has created. So though Krishna has created, Krishna still appears. It is up to Krishna. Anywhere he can appear. Now Krishna must be doing some pastime in some other part of the planet, some other world. Krishna can do anything. When Krishna appears, there is always a transcendental pleasure and a special bliss which everybody is experiencing. Like yesterday, everywhere there was Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram. Is it something ordinary? There is a temple opening, there is a deity installation. Like this installation, so many places have happened. But how is it that everywhere the people are chanting the holy name of Lord? Deities are persons. Like there was a lockdown, everybody were inside, like Vyomasur. Vyomasur locked the cowherd boys inside the caves. So it was a Vyomasur which was there 2 years back, which locked everybody inside. But it was only Krishna's mercy, Krishna's devotees, who were not bereft of any Krishna Katha. Like Krishna appeared in the form of Zoom, isn't it? Krishna can appear in different ways. So in this way, when Krishna appears, now Krishna appears as deities. The deities are persons. Krishna can appear in any form. Two, when so much of impious acts goes, when so much of adharma happens, then Krishna has to appear. He can appear in the form of Vigraha. He can appear personally, like walking, talking. So तुम्हारा प्रतिमा nahi sakshat Brajendra Nandana. He is not Pratima. He is Sakshat, Lord who appears. Okay. So now here Bhishma Deva is saying, my thoughts are going here and there. Now Bhishma is a devotee, but still for management purposes, especially when you are given the responsibility of some sevas in the temple, and you have to take care of your house also, temple also, so much of management is there. So thought processes goes here and there. You have to deal with people. So how is it that one can focus his mind in Krishna? So Bhishma Deva is a devotee, but still he says, my mind, thinking, willing, feeling. My mind was going here and there. But somehow, oh Lord, at least now, let me come out of all these thought processes. Let me only absorb myself in your thought. Let me only think about you. Let me feel you. Let me think about you. And my whole will is to only be with you. That means to your meditation. But just to meditate on you. Okay. Vimla, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sri Bhishma Uvacha Iti Mati Rupa Kalpita Vitrishna Bhagavati Satvat Pungave Vibhumni Swasukham Upagavate Kvachid Dvahartu Prakrti Mupaye Yeshu Yad Bhava Pravaha. Translation. Bhishma Deva said, let me now invest my thinking, feeling and willing, which was so long engaged in different subjects and occupational duties, in the powerful Lord Shri Krishna. He is always self-satisfied, but sometimes, being the leader of the devotees, he enjoys transcendental pleasure by descending on the material world, although from him only the material world is created. Purport. Because Bhishma Dev was a statesman, the head of the Kuru dynasty, a great general and a leader of Kshatriya, his mind was strained over so many subjects, and his thinking, feeling, and willing were engaged in different matters. Now, in order to achieve pure devotional service, he wanted to invest all powers of thinking, feeling, and willing entirely in the Supreme Being, Lord Krishna. He is described herein as the leader of the devotees and all-powerful. Although Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, he himself descends on earth to bestow upon his pure devotees the boon of devotional service. He descends sometimes as Lord Krishna as he is, and sometimes as Lord Chaitanya. Both are leaders of the pure devotees. Pure devotees of the Lord have no desire other than the service of the Lord, and therefore they are called Satvat. The Lord is the chief among such Satvatas. Bhishma Dev therefore had no other desires. Unless one is purified from all sorts of material desires, the Lord does not become one's leader. Desires cannot be wiped out, but they have only to be purified. It is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita by the Lord himself that he gives his instruction from within the heart of the pure devotee who is constantly engaged in the service of the Lord. Such instruction is given not for any material purpose, but only for going back home, back to Godhead. Bhagavad Gita 10.10. For the ordinary man who wants to lord it over material nature, the Lord not only sanctions and becomes a witness of activities, but he never gives the non-devotee instructions for going back to Godhead. That is the difference in the dealing by the Lord with different living beings, both the devotee and the non-devotee. He is the leader of all living beings, as the king of the state rules both the prisoners and the free citizens. But his dealings are different in terms of devotees and non-devotees. Non-devotees never care to take any instruction from the Lord, and therefore the Lord is silent in their case, although he witnesses all their activities and awards them the necessary results, good or bad. The devotees are above this material goodness and badness. They are progressive on the path of transcendence, and therefore they have no desire for anything material. The devotee also knows Shri Krishna as the original Narayan, because Lord Shri Krishna by his plenary portion appears as the Karanodakshai Vishnu, the original source of all material creation. The Lord also desires the association of his pure devotees, and for them only the Lord descends to the earth and enlivens them. The Lord appears out of his own will. He is not forced by the conditions of the material nature. He is therefore described here as the Vibhu, or the Almighty, for he is never conditioned by the laws of material nature. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Next. The first verse, what it is saying? Let my thoughts from here and there go away. But that doesn't mean that when you are really on ground, you have to say this, oh, I don't want to do any services. Now let me only think about Krishna and sit. When you are working for Krishna, it is actually meditation. Now, it's not that you just have to see Krishna and sit. No. When you are working for Krishna, it is meditation. When you're taking an anxiety to do Krishna service, propagation of Krishna consciousness, giving Harinam to others, that anxiety is also meditation. So Krishna consciousness is not just inertia, just sitting quietly in one place. I will not talk to anyone. I will only be absorbed in Krishna. By your talking, somebody becomes Krishna conscious, then that talk is meditation. So when here, materialistic activities have been told, the administration, a lot of materialistic dealings has to be done. He is taking care of the kingdom, isn't it? So he's as good as a king. Though he has not taken the kingship, but he's as good as a king. That has been given. Tribhuvanak kamanam malavarnam ravikara gauravarambaram dadani vapuralaka kula vrutananabjam vijaya sakheratirastu mena vadyam. Tribhuvana, three statuses of planetary systems. Kamanam, the most desirable. Tamala Varanam, bluish like a tamala tree. Ravikara, sun rays. Gaura, golden color. Varambaram, glittering dress. Dadhani, one who wears. Vapuhu, body. Alaka Kula Avrataha, covered with the paintings of sandalwood pulp. Anana Abjam, face like a lotus. Vijaya Sakhe, unto the friend of Arjuna. Ratiyastu, may attraction be reposed upon him. May, my, Anavadya, without desire for fruitive results. So now here, Sri Krishna is the Vijaya Sakhe. That means he is intimate friend of Arjuna. How he has appeared? He has appeared on this earth in his transcendental body. How it resembles? It resembles like tamala tree, bluish color of the tamala tree. And his body attracts everyone. Tribhuvana. All the three planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower. Then his dress, Varambaram. His dress is also wonderful, glittering, yellow dress, Pitambaram. His face is covered, lotus face is covered with paintings of sandalwood pulp, alaka kula avritaha. Alaka kula avritaha. So let my attraction, let this wonderful form of Krishna be the object of my attraction. And let me not desire for any fruitive results. So completely bringing the form of Krishna into the consciousness. He's looking also at the same time, he's praying that let his beautiful face be absorbed in my consciousness. That means there is an eye within the consciousness. There is an eye which sees everything. But it is not necessary whatever you see that has been seen by your consciousness. Sometimes you may look at the fan and sit, and you are thinking of somebody else. That means in your consciousness you are somebody else, something else, and you are looking at the fan and sitting. So let this wonderful form be imprinted in my consciousness. That is why it has been advised for the devotees to look at Harinam, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Like you have this chadar, you can see this chadar on it. Hare Krishna Mahamantra chadar is there. You have to see this and chant it. Now the deities are closed. So you are able to see Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare. So when a person is chanting, he should actually focus in the holy name. How to focus? Sometimes you see devotees roaming with the bead bag, talking in between. Beads are also rotating. The Bhagavatam class will be there, trying to chant at that time. Neither he is listening to Bhagavatam class, nor is he listening to the Harinam. These all are inattentive chanting, isn't it? Once I have been in Ayodhya, morning class also I told this. At that time, because the same thing came, Satam Nindanamna Paravaparadam Nidante. Why such offensive attitude comes when we are not attentively chanting? And as a sadhaka, we commit these mistakes. So once the Ayodhya Swamiji was morning 3:30, 4 o'clock, I was just chanting outside the ashram. There was an ashram where we all stayed in the yatra. There was Swamiji was there. He told, how you chant? I hear to the words. He said, try to look at Hare Krishna Mahamantra. When you look at Hare Krishna Mahamantra, when you close the eyes, you are able to see Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. You are able to see. When you're opening the eyes, even if this imprint is not before your eyes, if you are able to see Hare Krishna Mahamantra everywhere, then understand you have reached the perfection of the holy name. And the same class was given by Bhagavad Maharaj. He said, as a sadhaka, all of you should practice. He told to all of us. He asked, what do you see at that when you're chanting? What you try to see? Somebody told the beautiful face of Krishna. Somebody told lotus feet of Krishna. He said, we don't have that eligibility to see the lotus face of Krishna. Simple. So what we have that eligibility, we have that some qualification to see Hare Krishna Mahamantra. See Hare Krishna Mahamantra and sit and chant Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Hare. So when you're seeing, when you're focusing, your gross eyes into that, our gross eyes will not allow the subtle eye to think about anything else. Then slowly, when your gross eyes are also closed, the subtle eye starts looking at the imprint, which is there in the consciousness, which is there in the eye within the mind. Now see the mind, at the level of mind we are speaking. Now when the mind is also trained, Savai Mana Krishna Padaravindayoho, when the mind is also trained, then that consciousness, wherever you are, sometimes you think if the bead bag is not there, how am I going to chant? So when Bhishma Pitamaha was chanting the verses, he did not have the bead bag. But he's praying, let my consciousness be always with you. He's seeing also. He said, this beautiful form of yours, let it be imprinted in our mind. So bead bag is a practice ground. But the consciousness, while quitting the body, we may not be having bead bag in the hand, but our consciousness should be in the holy name. So this is the very important verses, how to leave the body, to be learnt by Bhishma Deva. Consciousness is focused in Krishna. Bead bag is an instrument so that we may not forget Krishna's name. Sometimes we are very attached to the bead bag, very good, but the consciousness also should be in Krishna. We rotate the beads and somehow try to finish 16 rounds. And sometimes 16 round chanting also becomes like a boja. Because mind is yet not in the Krishna 16 rounds. Mind. Prabhupada is asking us to train ourselves. It is not full 16, it is minimum 16 rounds. So that our consciousness is completely in the holy name. When we train ourselves, mind becomes in the holy name, consciousness is in the holy name. Even if the bead is not there in the hand, your consciousness is there in Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You go to office, you cannot carry bead bag with you. But if your consciousness is in the holy name, you will not forget Krishna even for a second. You start seeing Hare Krishna Mahamantra everywhere. So in this way, your mind is focused in Krishna. So this is at what levels you just think. It is at the level of prema, bhava, prema. We as a sadhaka, we can only describe in the words. But these are the most emotional, transcendental sentiments and bhava towards Krishna. Okay, because here, very nicely, somebody can say, he's looking on me now. Why is he saying again? He's looking at Lord. Lord is standing before him. Why is it said here? Let me not desire anything else. Let my whole meditation be onto you. Let you be my object of attraction. Now he's going to leave the body now, of my attraction. Till what level? That means even if the body leaves, the consciousness is there. So my consciousness, he knows he's going to leave the body. Ichha mrityu. So which object of attraction, at what level? At the level of consciousness. Okay. Now when we are healthy, we are able to go to temple. At one point, we will also become very old, lie on the bed, unable to go to temple. At that time, what will we do? What will we do? So only by going to temple, we will be doing devotional service. When we are not able to do that time, what will we do? This is the prayers. These are the prayers that time we should remember. That imprint, what I am seeing, it should be completely imprinted in our consciousness. Okay? Read the verse. Jumur or Narayana, one of you can read the verse, and the purport can be read by Neeraj Prabhu. Purport.
Yes, Mataji. I am reading the verse. Mataji, just a minute. Just 1 minute. Tribhuvanakamanam tamalavarnam. No, the tune is Tribhuvanakamanam tamalavarnam Ravikara Gaurava Rambaram Dadhani Vapurala Kakula Vrutananabjam Vijaya Sakhera Tirastu Menavadya. Translation and purport by Sri Prabhupada. Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Sri Krishna is the intimate friend of Arjuna. He has appeared on this earth in his transcendental body, which resembles the bluish color of the tamala tree. His body attracts everyone in the 3 planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower. May his glittering yellow dress and his lotus face, covered with the paintings of sandalwood pulp, be the object of my attraction, and may I not desire fruitive results.
Should I read, Mataji, the purport now?
Yeah, read.
Hare Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Ki Jai. When Sri Krishna, by his own internal pleasure, appears on earth, he does so by the agency of his internal potency. The attractive features of his transcendental body are desired in all the three worlds, namely the upper, middle, and the lower planetary systems. Nowhere in the universe are there such beautiful bodily features as those of Lord Krishna. Therefore, his transcendental body has nothing to do with anything materially created. Arjuna is described here as the conqueror, and Krishna is described as his intimate friend. Bhishma Dev, on his bed of arrows after the battle of Kurukshetra, is remembering the particular dress of Lord Krishna, which he put on as the driver of Arjuna's chariot. While fighting was going on between Arjuna and Bhishma, Bhishma's attraction was drawn by the glittering dress of Krishna, and indirectly he admired his so-called enemy Arjuna for possessing the Lord as his friend. Arjuna was always a conqueror because the Lord was his friend. Bhishma Dev takes this opportunity to address the Lord as Vijaya Sakhe, friend of Arjuna, because the Lord is pleased when he is addressed conjointly with his devotees, who are related with him in different transcendental humors. While Krishna was the charioteer of Arjuna, sun rays glittered on the dress of the Lord, and the beautiful hue created by the reflection of such rays was never forgotten by Bhishma Dev. As a great fighter, he was relishing the relation of Krishna in the chivalrous humor. Transcendental relations with the Lord in any one of the different rasas is relishable by the respective devotees in the highest ecstasy. Less intelligent mundaners who want to make a show of being transcendently related with the Lord artificially jump at once to the relation of conjugal love, imitating the damsels of Rajdhama. Such a cheap relation with the Lord exhibits only the base mentality of the mundaner, because one who has realized conjugal humor with the Lord cannot be attached to worldly conjugal rasas, which is condemned even by the mundane ethics. The eternal relations of a particular soul with the Lord is evolved. A genuine relation of the living being with the Supreme Lord can take any form out of the five principal rasas, and it does not make any difference in transcendental degree to the genuine devotee. Bhishma Dev is a concrete example of this, and it should be carefully observed how the great general is transcendently related with the Lord. Hare Krishna.
A genuine relation of living entity with the Supreme Lord can take any form out of the five principal rasas. Doesn't make any difference. Sometimes we think only Gopi Bhav only we should have. Vatsalya Bhav also.
Mataji, there are 9 rasas, right?
5 rasas, yes. Hanuman Bhav also you can have. It's not going to make any difference for a devotee. Devotee loves Krishna. It can be in any of the rasas. Any of the 5 principles rasas. Sometimes Shantaras, which generally devotees don't prefer because most of the time you cannot do any seva. But still, Krishna's ornaments also love Krishna. Krishna's Ayudha also loves Krishna. Isn't it? Shantaras, Dasiras, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhuri. Yudituragara Jovi Druma Vishwak Kachalulita Shama Varya Lankrutasye Mama Nishita Sharai Vibhityamana Tvachi Vilasat Kochestu Krishna Atma. On the battlefield, Turaga horses, Rajaha dust, Vidhumra turned an ashen color, Vishwak waving, Kacha hair, Lulita scattered, Shamavari perspiration, Alankruta decorated with, Asye unto the face, Mama my, Nishita sharp, Sharai by the arrows, Vibhidyamana pierced by Tvachi, in the skin Vilasat, enjoying pleasure, Vache, Kavache, protecting armor, Astu, let there be, Krishna unto Sri Krishna, Atma, mind. So on the battlefield, where Krishna attended Arjuna out of friendship, the flowing hair of Lord Krishna turned ashen due to the dust raised by the hooves of the horses. And because of his labor, beads of sweat wetted his face. All these decorations, intensified by the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows, were enjoyed by him. Let my mind thus go on to Sri Krishna. So he's remembering how Krishna looks so beautiful when he is piercing him with arrows. At the time, Krishna is enjoying because he is remembering the bite of the gopis. So Bhishma Deva is considered to be the great devotee because even in the battlefield, he is making Krishna remind of the gopis of Vrindavan. So when that verse comes, Guru Nahatva hi Mahanubhavan Shreyo Bhoktum Bhaishamapi Haloke Hatvartha Kamastu Guru Nihaiva Bhunji Yabhogan Rudira Pradikhan. At that time, we have discussed how Himha refers to, him means snow, ha means which cuts the snow, sun. The sun dries the stool also, but is not affected. In the same way, Bhishma Deva, though being on the side of the Kauravas, is not affected by the Kauravas. He is Mahanubhavan, he is a great soul. And what are the reasons of Bhishma to be there on the side of the Kauravas? In that, one of the reasons is he reminds Krishna of the love of the gopis. He loves to see this Parthasarthi form of Krishna. Actually, he's enjoying the beautiful face of Krishna. That means, you see, in the warfare, what is he remembering? What is he seeing? He is seeing, oh, Krishna's curly hairs are moving, they are flowing, and the dust has made it look like the color of the hair has changed. That means he's minutely observing the beauty of Krishna. That is why Duryodhana asked him, are you really fighting or what are you doing? Time pass or what? Yes, he was enjoying the pastime of Krishna. It was not doing time pass, enjoying the pastime of Krishna. That is where Bhishma Deva takes a vote. Tomorrow I'll kill all the Pandavas. Then Krishna again sends Draupadi, and we know what happens. So in this way, here the sweat has also been minutely observed. Oh, so beautiful. Looks like the beads. And in this way, he says, oh, this beautiful form of Krishna, let it be always absorbed in my consciousness. Okay. Adi Satviki Mataji, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Yudhi Turaga Raja Vidhumra Vishwak Kacha Lulita Shrama Varya Lankrita Se Mama Nita Saroir Vividyamana Twachi Virat Kavache Hastu Krishna Atma. Purport and translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. On the battlefield, within bracket, where Sri Krishna attended Arjuna out of friendship, the flowing hair of Lord Krishna turned ashen due to the dust raised by the hoofs of the horses. And because of his labor, beads of sweat wetted his face. All these decorations, intensified by the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows, were enjoyed by him. Let my mind thus go unto Sri Krishna. Purport: the Lord is the absolute form of eternity, bliss and knowledge. As such, transcendental loving service to the Lord in one of the 5 principal relations, namely Santa, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya, that is, neutrality, servitorship, fraternity, filial affection and conjugal love is graciously accepted by the Lord when offered to the Lord in genuine love and affection. Sri Bhishmadeva is a great devotee of the Lord in the relation of servitorship. Thus, his throwing of sharp arrows at the transcendental body of the Lord is as good as the worship of another devotee who throws soft roses upon him. It appears that Bhishmadeva is repenting the actions he committed against the person of the Lord. But factually, the Lord's body was not at all pained due to his transcendental existence. His body is not matter. Both he himself and his body are complete spiritual identity. Spirit is never pierced, burnt, dried, moistened, etc. This is vividly explained in the Bhagavad Gita, so also it is stated in the Sankha Purana. It is said that there that spirit is always uncontaminated and indestructible. It cannot be distressed, nor can it be dried up. When Lord Vishnu in his incarnation appears before us, he seems to be like one of the conditioned souls, materially encaged, just to bewilder the asuras or the non-believers, who are always alert to kill the Lord. Even from the very beginning of his appearance, Kamsa wanted to kill Krishna and Ravana wanted to kill Rama, because foolishly they were unaware of the fact that the Lord is never killed, for the spirit is never annihilated. Therefore, Vishmadeva's piercing of the body of Lord Krishna is a sort of bewildering problem for the non-devotee atheist. But those who are devotees or liberated souls are not bewildered. Bhishmadeva appreciated the all-merciful attitude of the Lord because he did not leave Arjuna alone. Although he was disturbed by the sharpened arrows of Bhishmadeva, nor was he reluctant to come before Bhishmadeva's deathbed. Even though he was ill-treated by him on the battlefield, Bhishma's repentance and the Lord's merciful attitude are both unique in this picture. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, a great acharya and devotee in this humor of conjugal love with the Lord, remarks very saliently in this regard. He says that the wounds created on the body of Lord by the sharpened arrows of Bhishmadeva were as pleasing to the Lord as the biting of a fiancé who bites the Lord's body directly by a strong sense of sex desire. Such biting by the opposite sex is never taken as a sign of enmity, even if there is a wound on the body. Therefore, the fighting as an exchange of transcendental pleasure between the Lord and his pure devotee, Sri Bhishmadeva. Sri Bhishmadeva was not at all mundane. Besides that, since the Lord's body and the Lord are identical, there was no possibility of wounds in the absolute body. The apparent wounds caused by the sharpened arrows are misleading to the common man, but one who has a little absolute knowledge can understand the transcendental exchange in the chivalrous relation. The Lord was perfectly happy with the wounds caused by the sharpened arrow of Bhishmadeva. The word Vididhyamana is significant because the Lord's skin is not different from the Lord, because our skin is different from our soul. In our case, the word Vididhyamana, or being bruised and cut, would have been quite suitable. Transcendental bliss is of different varieties, and the variety of activities in the mundane world is but a perverted reflection of transcendental bliss. Because everything in the mundane world is qualitatively mundane. It is full of inebrities. Whereas in the absolute realm, because everything is of the same absolute nature, there are varieties of enjoyment without inebriety. The Lord enjoyed the wounds created by his great devotee Vishmadeva, and because Vishmadeva is a devotee in the chivalrous relation, he fixes up his mind on Krishna in that wounded condition. So beautiful. Thank you.
So,
Thank you so
we'll
much,
stop
Mata.
here. We'll stop here. Any questions you can ask.
Mataji, what
Yeah.
is tamal tree? Tamal tree?
Tamal is tamal tree, no? Kadamba, tamal, vriksha.
Kadam tree.
Kadam is different, tamal is different.
So what is English word for tamal?
You have to search.
Acha, acha. Acha, the dealings of Lord is different for different
When
devotees.
Narayana will say, what is tamal? English word of tamal, just find out.
Second question is, the dealings of Lord is different for devotees and non-devotees. And it is
Yeah.
written that the Lord is silent in the case of non-devotees.
He likes to be silent because he's not going to be heard now. So better is remain silent.
So then there is no room for improvement.
Even if he
For-
tries to improve also, they don't have ears to improve. You have to hear, na? How will you improve? Somebody speaks, somebody hears. If somebody doesn't want to hear, why the other person should speak? Room for improvement is only devotees. When you say devotees means what? Who wants to improve, then only they are called as devotees. Who doesn't want to improve, they are not called as devotees. Like Jai Shri Ram, yesterday all devotees were chanting. Those who are having enmity towards Lord, they don't want to chant, simple. They want to close their eyes, they want to close their ears, or they want to hurt the devotees. Will you call them devotees? Room for chanting is given.
Tamal
So,
tree,
Nainu,
Tamal
Yeah.
tree, Tej Patta.
Tej patta, acha, acha.
Acha, Tamal tree speech.
Tamal tree is Cinnamomum tamalam. So it is called as the Indian bay leaf, also known as Tej Patta, Malabar leaf, Indian cassia.
Okay.
It's
Yes,
bark is
Tamal
blue.
tree, yes. Tej Patta.
Tej
Tej
Patta.
Patta tree is there in
That
our
is
temple.
Yes, he can go and hug the tree.
Same Tej Patta, the
Tej
same
patta
thing which is there in the.
Yes,
bay
yes.
leaf that is.
Acha, that is Tamal tree.
Yes.
Cinnamon stick.
Still do some research.
No, not the cinnamon stick, Mataji. The Tej
Is
Patta
dalchini.
tree. Dalchini,
It is
dalchini
there
tree.
in our Jagannath Devasthan. Bada Tej Patta tree is there. So that is Tamal. That is why Jagannath has come there.
We use in chole. That tej patta.
So Nainu,
Thank you.
what you are going to speak?
Krishna Bhagavati Sarthaka
Pungave Vibhumni Swasukhamupagate Kvachitvahartum Prakrutimupe Pravaha Tribhuvanakamanam Tamalavarnam Ravikaragouravarambaram Dadhane Vapuralakakula
She knows
Prutananam
these verses. Let her chant, let her chant, let her chant. You chant.
She knows only two because we are teaching her these verses now.
Auntie, you chant. Nainu chant.
Start from starting. Shri Bhishma Uvacha Iti Mati.
You don't chant.
Krishna Bhagavati Sarthaka Pungave
Vibhumni
Swasukha Mukha Pagate
Haritum
Prakriti
Nupeyushi Yadbhava Prabha. Very good. Next time you learn second verse nicely and you chant. Hari Bol.
Yes.
Kripa Sindhu Bevacha. Patitanam Pavani Vaishnavi Namo Vaishnavati ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.